Mark Ingram, Alvin Kamara ran wild in this one. The duo combined for 248 total yards and 3 touchdowns. The running back duo met the media after the game.
We're writers. We're supposed to use our words to describe what he's doing, but we're all having a hard time. So how would you describe what he did?
Savage.
Savage.
Savage. Just cold-blooded.
Savage.
So good.
It's a very football-esque term. No, but they're playing fantastic.
Playing great.
They're just having fun. They're going out there. They're successful. They're playing great.
Is there a question?
Coach, are you buying the Saints?
They are playing great.
No. Is that going to help contribute to the Saints as legitimate Super Bowl contenders?
Yep.
That's the question.
It's an excellent.
I got excited.
It is an excellent question.
Thank you, Coach.
With New Orleans, they were always one of the hardest teams to get ready for, and I've talked to you about this before. It's the variety that they have. It's
the volume.
The volume, the shifting, the motioning, the multiple personnel groups, the creativity, the ability to throw the ball down the field, dealing with Drew Brees and his ability to extend plays. So now when you add an effective running game and an effective running game that has 2 different styles where they can be physical or they can threaten you outside, you've got to defend the whole field. So it becomes issue after issue defensively. The other thing is they added Mike Westhoff, and not a lot of conversation has gone into this, but he's a special teams coach that came out of retirement to help that group.
They've struggled on special teams for years.
For years, and he is really, really good. I had him in New York. His value is going to be understated here, but it's going to be significant, and I think that helps him too.
What the Saints, since they got rid of Adrian Peterson, what they've unleashed is the best 1-2 punch running back combo in the league by a wide margin. Like I guess some people would say LeGarrette Blount, Jay Ajayi are a close second, but I don't even think it's close. The Derrick Henry and DeMarco Murray and Tennessee, these 2 guys, both of these guys, Ingram and Kamara, are having Pro Bowl level years. Kamara is an every time he touches the football, you hold your breath type of guy. He's breaking. It seems like the first tackle, just forget about it. Just going to break that tackle, and then he's averaging nearly 9 yards per touch this season. And he's, I think, over 120. He's averaging over 120 yards from scrimmage since they got rid of Adrian Peterson. He's gotten the ball more. And when you add to that what you said, oh, yeah, Drew Brees is there, who the last 6 games has been the best quarterback in football. Well, you have as a team that, of course, they can win the Super Bowl. Like, winning the Super Bowl, super hard. Very, anything can happen. But if you're talking about, can they? You're damn straight they can. Yesterday, they did it without Marshawn Lattimore,
But yet there's a lot of people that bet against them.
Yeah, yesterday. Oh. Listen, hold on.
And you're in the money on this set.
Coach, I'm telling you, Coach, as we go through the season, man, you've gotten funnier and funnier.
I don't know. I took the Panthers plus 5.5 yesterday. I liked getting the 5.5 points. I don't love Ron Rivera not using his last time out just because they're down 10. Hey, Ron Rivera, you can still cover. You can't win. You can still cover. But that's neither here nor there.
I'm sure that's what he was thinking. It's like, what can I do to cover?
So, I mean, it's hard for me right now, CC, especially because you expect Lattimore to come back. He was out again yesterday, to find a glaring weakness for this team.
Well, their defense, no one mentioned that. They held Carolina to 3 of 10 on 3rd down. All right? People act like that wasn't a big story. That's a huge story for the Saints. You have 10 3rd downs, and you're able to get off the field 7 times, because 3rd down is the biggest down in football. People just miss out on it. That's change of possession. So now those 7 times, they're punting the ball to Drew Brees with their running attack. This is, to me, the most dangerous Saints team that we've seen because of their physicality. There's 2 ways to lose in the National Football League that coaches hate. Number 1 is losing the game, playing stupid, penalties. Coaches try to prevent that every week. Why is New England number 1? Because they don't lose games themselves. Number 2, the most demoralizing way to lose in the NFL is getting run on between the tackles, and you can't stop them. No team wants that. No way to lose the game is more demoralizing. So, yeah, we have Drew Brees, but we can run the ball on you and demoralize you. And I think that sets up. No one is better at play action than Drew Brees. So it sets up for Drew to be even better. You said in his last 6 weeks, Look at their running game in these last 6 weeks.
Absolutely.
Look at their ability to dominate the clock. So now, because they have a defense that's still a little undersized, Coach, because they play inside. But when that defense is only playing 25 to 28 minutes, this is what we saw last year with Dallas. I believe they have better personnel than Dallas had, so they got that effect, that kind of slingshot effect of the offense is on the field dominating with the running game, the defense is playing less, and they're getting off the field on third down. These are huge storylines in New Orleans that we haven't seen.
The thing that worries me, though, is that they did lose to the Rams recently, and the other two losses were against playoff caliber teams with New England and Minnesota. Granted, those were early. You just would have liked to see one of those three games where it went their way.
Let's talk, speaking of defenses, the Carolina Panthers defense has been, for the most part, carrying the team all season, with Cam dropping in seemingly every other week to have a fantastic game. They've been woefully inconsistent, and I think that's been their Achilles heel, and that starts with Cam Newton, your guy over here. Talk to me a little bit about the Carolina Panthers and almost how they kind of shot themselves in the foot by not being able to be consistent week in and week out. Yeah, because they have all the pieces in place.
And that's what you always think about, or I have throughout the course of the season with Carolina. And look at yesterday. It was the special teams. And so if the defense is playing well and Cam's playing well, and then yesterday they have 2 errors on special teams that leads to 10 points, that's the difference in the game. It's hard to find that consistency because the only thing that has been consistent is that element, and you're looking to try to take care of that problem. But you know, when you're plugging one problem here and then plugging another problem here, you're chasing it, and I think not having a consistent running game has hurt them.
Listen, Cam gets a lot of the scrutiny and criticism, as he should. He's one of the highest paid players in the league, one of the highest profile players in the league, and he's been inconsistent all year long. Yesterday was not on Cam Newton. Yesterday, Cam, despite having about 75 yards and a touchdown worth of drops, balls he fit into tight windows, hitting guys in the hands work against him, he still played a clean game. He still made some big plays with his arm and with his legs. Yesterday, what we saw was in Carolina is that these very mediocre receivers played like very mediocre receivers. They hadn't looked like they missed Kelvin Benjamin all year. Yesterday, they looked like they missed Kelvin Benjamin. Greg Olsen, they thought he was, during the week, they thought he was going to play. Game day, he's not a healthy scratch, but they're giving him an extra week with his foot. They could have used him yesterday. And the point about the running game, Seattle is somehow getting by with their best rusher being their quarterback. Carolina is not admitting that the way Seattle is, so they're still calling a bunch of running plays to McCaffrey, to Jonathan Stewart, and it's just not working for him right now.
And Russell Wilson is a better thrower consistently than Cam Newton.
Absolutely.
But their biggest problem yesterday was they couldn't get enough first down. They ran the ball effectively. They just couldn't get enough plays. I mean, I think they ran 55 plays. NFL average is around 65 plays.
Yep.
So if you get another 10 rushes in there, I think they average 4.95 yards a game. That's another 50 yards rushing. That's going to generate you a few more first downs, a few more attempts. This is the style that they can only win at. That's why I don't like Carolina as much as some of the other teams, because if they can't run the ball, they're not special. And then now I'm worried about the suspension of their defensive end, which was huge against New Orleans running the ball. And he's going to be out for the rest of the regular season.
All right, Coach, as always, thanks for hanging out with us.
Thank you so much, Coach.
Always love having you.
Yes.
Awesome.
Coach, who we betting on tonight? I mean,
You know what?
Whoever Nick takes.
You'll take the opposite.
Yes. No one
Coming
talks
up,
about the wins. Seattle on the money
Carson
line.
Wentz
Neither do
playing
you.
for the Eagles.